Frank Costello, the Prime Minister of the underworld. Known as the Prime Minister of the underworld, Frank Costello was an influential mobster who weathered through numerous mob conflicts, government investigations, and an assassination plot, ultimately seizing command of the National Commission of Mafia Bosses, which was established by Lucky Luciano. Born as Francesco Castiglia in Italy on January 26, 1891, Costello came to the United States in 1895 to settle in Manhattan. Accompanied by his mother and brother Edward, he embarked on a journey to join their father in New York City's East Harlem. His father had previously relocated there and established a modest Italian grocery store in the neighborhood. During Costello's youth, his brother initiated him into gang pursuits. By the age of 13, he had joined a neighborhood gang and adopted the moniker Frankie. Engaging in petty offenses, Costello faced incarceration for assault and robbery in 1908, 1912, and 1917. In 1918, he wed Loretta Geigerman, the sister of a close friend. This was also the time when he concurrently served a 10-month sentence for possessing a concealed weapon. Upon his release, he pledged to forsake violence, opting instead to leverage his intellect for financial gain. Costello found employment within the Morello gang in Harlem, where he encountered Luciano, the Sicilian head of the Lower East Side gang in Manhattan. Instantly bonding, the two Italians forged a friendship and business partnership. However, this burgeoning alliance faced opposition from older members of Luciano's mob clan. These traditional mafiosi harbored reservations about collaborating with individuals who weren't Italian and held skepticism, particularly towards non-Sicilians. Much to Luciano's surprise, they cautioned him against associating with Costello, derogatorily referring to him as the dirty Calabrian. This, however, did not stop them from becoming great friends. Teaming up with Italian-American allies like Vito Genovese and Tommy Three-Finger Brown Lucchese, alongside Jewish associates Meyer Lansky and Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, the group delved into a range of illegal activities: robbery, theft, extortion, gambling, and narcotics. As Prohibition took effect in 1920, the Luciano-Costello-Lansky-Siegel coalition found increased success, particularly in bootlegging, with support from criminal financier Arnold the Brain Rothstein. The burgeoning success of the young Italians facilitated lucrative business ventures with prominent Jewish and Irish underworld figures of the time, including Dutch Schultz, Auni the Killer Madden, and William Big Bill Dwyer. Rothstein took on a mentoring role for Costello, Luciano, Lansky, and Siegel as they engaged in bootlegging enterprises alongside Bronx beer magnate Schultz. In 1922, Costello, Luciano, and their closest Italian cohorts integrated into the Sicilian crime family under Joe the Boss Masuria, a prominent figure in the Italian underworld. By By 1924, Costello had established strong ties with Hell's Kitchen's Irish crime leaders, Dwyer and Madden, involving himself in their rum-running operations, known as the Combine. This association potentially prompted him to adopt the Irish surname Costello. In 1925, Costello acquired U.S. citizenship. In 1926, Dwyer faced a conviction for bribing a Coast Guard official, resulting in a 2-year prison sentence. With Dwyer incarcerated, Costello assumed control of the Combine's operations alongside Madden. This shift sparked conflict between Madden and Charles Vanny Higgins, a key lieutenant of Dwyer, who felt entitled to lead the Combine instead of Costello. Consequently, the Manhattan Beer Wars erupted, pitting Higgins against Costello, Madden, and Schultz. Simultaneously, Schultz encountered troubles with rival gangsters Jack Legs Diamond and Vincent Mad Dog Call, backed by Higgins, challenging Schultz and his associates. Eventually, the alliance of Costello, Madden, and Schultz fell victim to the upheaval in New York's underworld. In the late 1920s, Johnny Torrio played a pivotal role in organizing the Big Seven, a loose coalition of East Coast bootleggers involving notable figures such as Costello, Luciano, Lungy Zwillman, Joe Adonis, and Meyer Lansky. Torrio advocated for the establishment of a national entity to avert the intense territorial conflicts that had erupted in Chicago and New York among gangs. This proposition gained traction, leading to a conference hosted by Torrio, Lansky, Luciano, and Costello in Atlantic City in May 1929, resulting in the formation of the National Crime Syndicate. In the early months of 1931, the Castellamarese War erupted between Masuria and Salvatore Maranzano. Striking a clandestine deal with Maranzano, Luciano orchestrated the demise of his boss, Masuria, in exchange for gaining control over Masuria's operations and assuming the role of Maranzano's second-in-command. By September 1931, Luciano and Genovese devised a plan to eliminate Maranzano. Learning of Maranzano's intentions to eliminate him and Genovese, Luciano preemptively organized a hit team to eliminate Maranzano. Following the murders of Masuria and Maranzano, Luciano ascended as the leader of the newly formed Luciano crime family, with Genovese as the underboss and Costello as the consigliere. Costello swiftly became a significant earner for the Luciano family, establishing his own prominent position within the underworld. He took charge of the family's slot machine and bookmaking operations, strategically placing around 25,000 slot machines across various establishments in New York, from bars and restaurants to cafes, drugstores, gas stations, and bus stops. However, in 1934, Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia seized thousands of Costello's slot machines, loading them onto a barge and dumping them into the river. In response, Costello pivoted by accepting a proposal from Louisiana Governor Huey Long to deploy slot machines throughout Louisiana, securing a 10% share of the profits. In 1936, Luciano was convicted of running a prostitution ring and sentenced to 30 to 50 years in state prison. He attempted to rule the crime family from prison with the help of Costello and Lansky, but found it too difficult. With Luciano's imprisonment, Genovese became acting boss of the Luciano crime family. In 1937, Genovese was indicted for a 1934 murder and fled to Italy to avoid prosecution. Luciano then appointed Costello as acting boss. His underboss was his cousin Willie Moretti. From May 1950 to May 1951, the U.S. Senate conducted a large-scale investigation of organized crime. Costello was convicted of contempt of the Senate and sentenced to 18 months in prison. In 1952, the government began proceedings to strip Costello of his U.S. citizenship, and he was indicted for evasion of $73,417 in income taxes between 1946 and 1949. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined $20,000. In 1956, Adonis, a powerful Costello ally, chose deportation to Italy over a long prison sentence. His departure left Costello weakened, but Genovese still had to neutralize one more powerful Costello ally, Anastasia, who had taken over the Mangano crime family after the disappearance of boss Vincent Mangano and the murder of his brother Philip Mangano on April 14, 1951. In early 1957, Genovese decided to move on Costello. Genovese ordered Vincent Giganti to murder Costello, and on May 2, 1957, Giganti shot and wounded Costello outside his apartment building. The altercation persuaded Costello to relinquish power to Genovese and retire. Even in retirement, Costello maintained the title of the Prime Minister of the Underworld, wielding considerable power and influence within New York's Mafia until his final years. On February 18, 1973, Costello passed away due to a heart attack at Doctors Hospital. His solemn memorial service took place at a Manhattan funeral home, drawing 50 attendees, including relatives, friends, and law enforcement agents. He was laid to rest in a private mausoleum at St. Michael's Cemetery in East Elmhurst, Queens. In 1974, following the release of his enemy Carmine Galante from prison, there were allegations that Galante ordered the bombing of the doors to Costello's mausoleum. Frank Costello, an iconic figure in the annals of American organized crime, wove a captivating tale within the clandestine world he ruled. His reign as the head of the Luciano crime family catapulted him into the spotlight, earning him the moniker Prime Minister of the Underworld. Yet, unlike the flamboyant figures often associated with organized crime, Costello shunned the limelight, operating with a calculated discretion that allowed him to wield power from the shadows. His influence extended far beyond illicit dealings, reaching into the realms of politics and society. In his legacy, Costello left behind a complex narrative, a testament to the allure of power, the intricacies of loyalty, and the enigmatic allure of a life lived in the shadows. Even in death, his legend persists, an indelible mark on the ever-evolving story of organized crime in America.
And with that, we have come to the end of our video. Please subscribe, like and click that notification bell to be notified of our future episodes. This is Ben saying, see you next time.